Yo, 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 yo. Hey, yo. What is up? Today we're going to be watching Andrew Wilson and Jake Rattlesnake on the Whatever Podcast, roasting a couple of feminists, basically serving them. So let's get into this. We'll go there. No. We'll go there.
If men really are have the capacity to just be kind of like these oppressive monsters, then why not just handmaid tale the whole thing? You just put all the women in the cages, right? And just like livestock them if you wanted to. Women could never do that in opposition. And so because of that, I'm like, well, it seems like men are pretty benevolent because they really could and have in other countries done that, like in the Middle East, places like this. They completely strip the rights of women kind of overnight. And women can't really do much about it, but they can't do it in reverse, right? They can't make men do this in reverse. So when the question becomes...
See, women's power has always been one thing. They've always had one thing going for them: manipulation tactics. And with manipulation, it goes both ways. Men can manipulate women just the same, but women can't physically dominate men. And that's where there's a distinction between the two. But, so short of poison or guns or, some kind of way of evening the odds, I guess a car, an automobile. There are plenty of ways they could take advantage in vulnerable moments. But for the most part, men have, force on lockdown.
Are women necessary? It's like, yeah, I can agree that women are necessary to have children, but are they necessary to run a society? Clearly not. Clearly not. I can point to you many societies right now where they're totally unnecessary in the running of the society.
They're all furious.
That's just factually true. Now, what you're doing is you're taking this in your head. I can tell you this right now. Here's what you're doing. He actually believes that you should put women in cages and do horrible things. Even though I literally never said a word like that.
I didn't think that.
I just want to let you know right now that that's not my ought claim. I'm just saying what is true.
Well, good, but I wasn't thinking that.
Yeah. So what is true?
We can see that.
No, I don't think society needs women to function. I don't think it needs them in any support role, really. I don't think it needs them in any leadership role whatsoever. I think that if women were essentially relegated to second-class citizens, as an is statement, not an ought, as an is statement, if women were relegated to second-class citizens, I think society would be fine.
That's really upsetting to hear. So you really just think that women exist to give birth?
See, that's the ought. See the ought saying, I see the ought. You see?
Yeah, boo. That's what you're hearing because that's what you want to hear. You literally have no concept.
See the ought there that you did there? So you think women only exist to do that's an ought claim. I'm not saying ought.
So what do you
I don't think women only exist to do that. I'm telling you descriptively.
Basically, I don't understand what you're saying, so I'm going to imply what you're saying rather than listen to what you're saying.
I want you to answer to the descriptor with a counter descriptor. I think it is true, not ought to be, but is true, that if women were relegated to second class...
Meet our TurboTax experts in person and let them do your taxes for you. Now this is taxes.
Driftwood and Drive. Buy Golf the Chain and the whole Old Spice NFL collection at Walmart today.
Sorry, we're going to watch this.
Touch My Blade donated $200. If all men passed instantly, or if all women passed.
This guy's always 5 seconds behind me on this.
Who would last longer? Think infrastructure, power, water, food, farming, etc.
This is a wonderful question. Obviously, you're not going to ever have a scenario where all men go or all women go at the same time. However, in the case that it did, you're both screwed. But the question is framed, who would last longer? And clearly the answer is going to be men. Number one, without women, there's no reproduction happening anymore. Without number two, without men, there's no reproduction happening anymore. Once the sperm banks are, depleted. And I guess the technically frozen embryos, frozen eggs, and things of that nature, there are men that can make that happen. So once in both scenarios, once those stocks are depleted, we're done. We're cooked. Either way, both sides. But who would last longer? So if you're going to put this into effect, women probably think, well, yeah, we would have no more grape, we'd have no more murder, we'd have no more wars, we'd have no more of this. But the opposite is actually true on a couple of those. You probably would not have any more grape. I'll give you that, because men commit most of the grape. But how are you going to have, like, women can't even get along with each other. They pretend they can and they think they can, but they're not looking at it in the right frame of mind. Their frame of reference is their own isolated little anecdotal experiences, rather than thinking and being mindful of the everyday experiences that most every woman goes through. There's some kind of snobbery of jealousy or something on every kind of, I mean, not every, that's wrong. That's never thinking absolutes there, Anakin. However, men are clearly, we're the ones who keep the lights on. We're the ones who keep the roads paved, the water flowing, the vegetables, the meat. We literally are the ones who make the world go round to be as comfortable as it is. We're the ones who create air conditioner. We're the ones who create the machines and the medicines and the vaccinations and the automobiles and all of the implements that are utilized in everyday life. It's going to be hard for women to keep going. Women don't invent things. It's not that they can't, it's that they don't. They haven't been in that position for as long as men have. Now, that's, once again, it's not to say that they can't, because obviously they can't. I've known some brilliant ladies and brilliant women. However, once all men are gone, who's going to protect you from the wolves? Women don't make pew-pews. Women don't make ammunition. Women don't make things of this nature. You think you're gonna, but it's not gonna happen. You're not gonna. Men are definitely gonna last longer.
I just want the counter descriptor. So I'm not saying this should be true. I'm not saying that you should do any of this, because you shouldn't. I'm just giving the descriptor of what is correct and accurate. So from my view, it is correct, descriptively true, that if all women were made into second-class citizens tomorrow, they had no real rights, they were not allowed in government positions of any kind, nor leadership positions, that society would be just fine. There would not be any, like, I can't really even envision, I just really can't even really envision any problems, honestly. So I'm waiting for a counter descriptor to say, nope, I do think that there would be lots and lots and lots of problems, and here's what they would be. But I don't want to hear what we should do, because I already agree with you. We shouldn't do this.
Well, not enough women have even been in government to prove that they have
Not enough women have clothes on. Not enough women are raising children. Not enough women are good, positive role models for their children. I can keep going with you all day. Not enough women have enough distinction and class to, once again, I'll go back to my first point, put clothes on. Showing just enough cleavage is disgusting. Showing legs and thighs and this thing is disgusting. You don't realize what you're doing. It makes you feel good, and okay, fine, fair enough. But what does it do to men who are lusting after you? It puts them in a predicament. You don't care about them. You don't care about their eternal souls. But God says to lust after a woman is to already commit adultery with her in your heart. Therefore, you are already in sin. Now, we're in sin anyway, but why do you want to stack it up? It makes no sense.
capabilities to help run it.
Yeah, but that doesn't counter the descriptor of what of this being true. Like, I'm just going to grant that. Like, maybe women would be the bestest rulers ever. Let's say they occupied 90% of government, they'd be way better than men. My descriptor, though, is just that if all women were relegated to second-class citizenry, I don't see why society wouldn't function fine.
I mean, I just disagree with you just on the grounds of you can't have one, strata or like one type of person be in power.
Well, it wouldn't be one type of person. It would be thousands of different types of people.
Men. It would be men.
Yeah, but wait. There's only
So
two
you're
types of
telling me there's
humans,
only-
right?
So basically, she's saying there's only two types of persons, men or women, which is true and untrue. So, I mean, it's a contradiction to itself for me to say that. But I see what she's saying. If we're going with the binary, yes, that's true. But all men are not the same, and all women are not the same. For you to think that we're, two different monoliths is extremely ridiculous.
Men and women.
Right.
Right. So there's male and
one
female.
type of person.
But can't we point to cultures right now where women are...
Once again, one type of person. She's clearly... See, the problem is we have a bunch of children walking around pretending to be the authority on everything. Like this Parker and Dean and all of these little kids, because they, got out of high school and they know a few things and they can sound smart. They think they have worldly experience. Your friggin', aced tests that you took in high school and maybe even in college, it still does not apply and give you worldly knowledge. That is so stupid. It's not even funny.
Are completely disenfranchised from all power roles and the society functions fine?
Not for them. They're miserable.
No, it's not good for
They can't do the things they want to do.
I agree. It's not good for the women. The women don't like it. But that not contending again with the descriptor. The descriptor is, would society...
I disagree. I say it would be good for the women. They just don't want it.
Be fine. Like you could have a
because
totally
society
oppressed
includes
underclass.
the happiness of their citizens and the abilities for them to act out according to their own needs and wants. And so if women are oppressed and they can't do that, then it's not a stable and good society for everybody.
What if they have a massive brainwashing program which convinces all of the women that they're actually happy, as many of these nations do, and so the women report we're really happy? No, I'm not kidding. Like this is true right this second. I can point to many countries where this is the case.
Gulf states.
Yep. Tons of them.
You look at countries like Qatar, Dubai. They don't have really any women in positions of power at all.
Tomorrow, here's how it's going to be.
Second-class citizens. And
here's Twitter. Here's Twitter tomorrow, right? Andrew Wilson says we should do thing. I literally said we should never do. Just giving a descriptor, but I can already tell.
Melt sales objections with this book. I just got my black book of questions in the mail. And look at this thing. Honestly, it's less of a book and more like a full-blown sales manual. It's over 115 pages packed with real-world examples and plug-and-play templates that can be adapted to.
No gifting today on that one.
He wants women in cages. I can hear it now.
Lopin says, thank you, Andrew. Vote Andrew 2024 Taliban party. But seriously, you've already absorbed anti-baby propaganda, idiocracy, Handmaid's Tale, even cartoons you watched as a baby. Fern Gully, too many human.
There's not too many humans. This is going to sound, way out there, but it is a proven fact. Now, granted, you're talking shoulder to shoulder, jammed in like sardines, but you could fit all 8 billion people on this planet in one county in Florida. There's plenty of room out there. I understand some scientists will probably rebut this and say that I'm insane. And where do I get that? With, it's not hard for you to do the will of Satan when you're trying to have deletions, self-deletions, governmental assisted deletions, mothers deleting their children, and, all kind of, you don't want all kinds of things. I even heard Ben Shapiro the other day saying that retirement should not be the age that it is. It's almost 70 years old, 67. Are you insane? We're not all, running after shekels every day for the rest of our lives, Ben. So you piss off and go back to your place of, origination at that point. This is ridiculous. I'm getting a little tired of everyone acting like they know everything because they know 3-syllable words. Participle. 4-syllable words. How about that?
Banger of a movie.
By the way, that other guy, real sharp. What's his name? Slade.
Blade.
Blade. Yeah.
Touch my blade.
He seems
Touch
like
my blade.
he seems like he's on it.
He's on point. He's been firing off. Well, I think also maybe Andrew, you can speak to like the actual, I guess, practical application here when it comes to men being involved in critical infrastructure. And is that kind of the angle that you're coming at this with? Like,
no, I'm literally coming at it from all angles. If women were removed from all societal function, like let's say that this is a Middle Eastern nation where you can't even walk down the street without like having a male escort. Those nations, I'm not kidding, they exist right now. I know that for some reason feminists think that this is like, you're talking about a hypothetical handmaid step. These civilizations exist right now and they have hundreds of millions of people in them. Hundreds of millions. If you remove women from all critical roles in society, these nations keep going fine. Like, and